I would like to introduce our chairperson who is sitting, and our chairperson is in the person of Right Reverend Professor Wusu Setre, a very distinguished academic and a distinguished man of God. He's also the Vice Chancellor for Cape Coast Technical University. Please let's give it up for our chairperson. Our chairperson, you are very welcome.
Thank you very much, MC, and good morning to all of you. And welcome to the second day of the conference. It's good to see all of you here. It was a good day yesterday. The proceedings went well, and I think the presentations were also very well done. We look forward to having another great session today. Look forward to listening to interesting presentations today, and I guess we all should be taking notes so that when we go back we can improve upon what we've been doing. With that said, I accept to chair the ceremony. I'm doing it on behalf of Reverend Professor Ishan, and we trust that this session and probably the other ones will go on very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So to introduce our speaker this morning, for the first session, he'll be talking to us on the topic entrepreneurship, industry, and university linkages. Our speaker is an economist, a member of the Chartered Institute of Bankers. And previously, he's worked with the Royal Bank Limited as Senior Vice President and Head of Marketing, Research and Corporate Affairs. Currently, Dr. Kwame Amwa Banyako is the General Manager, Sustainability and Stakeholder Relations at the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation. Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, let us welcome.
Put your hands together for.
Mr. Chairman, I stand on all protocols. This is an academic conference, so the long list of introductions might not be necessary, I presume. So I've been asked to speak on entrepreneurship, industry, and university linkages. I hope that you can follow me when I roll my hand so that we can do this as quickly as possible. I intend to do this in 20 minutes so that we can then focus on the discussions. The key issues here, I'll be looking slightly at employment, skill acquisition, and entrepreneurship. Then I'll look at the link between theory and practice. I am lucky because I moved from academia and I've gone to industry. I intend to come back to academia. So I'm very much particular about that linkage, and that's what I'm trying to build. When we come to the last session, industry and academia linkages in practice, I'd like to share the experience of GNPC, how we are trying to put that in practice. So I'll discuss the theory and then I'll come to practice. So you notice that most of the conversation will relate to theory and practice. Academia, industry, where does this linkage begin? So I hope to make it a bit more interesting. Can we go to the next slide? So next. So somewhere in the year 1993, when I was a student at the first year student at the University of Ghana, and if the older people amongst us will remember, everything was about the year 2000, isn't it? We thought the world was coming to an end in the year 2000. So on campus, the University Christian Fellowship, they put posters all over campus. Hail the year 2000, Jesus is coming. But those of us into sports also had the point they made of Jesus is coming, is it a reality or an illusion? So if you remember, that was the phrase, reality or illusion. In the same year, 1993, Kumasi Asante Kotoko was playing the African Cup Champions League final. And as a Kotoko fan then, I also put posters all over campus. Kotoko for the Triple Crown, because that would have been Kotoko's third Champions League victory. Reality or illusion? It turned out to be an illusion, and they've never been to the Champions League final since then. But then, it forced me to create a word. So that word you see, the revolution, is my own creation. So reality or illusion, it's followed me throughout the things that I've done. I always ask the question, when a question is posed to me or a statement is made, I ask, is that reality or illusion? And so I've created Revolution. Wherever you see that in my presentation, I'm asking whether what I've stated is a reality or illusion, and then I'll come to trying to answer that. And that's the approach I'm taking for this presentation. So we'll start with employment, skills, and entrepreneurship. The topic is entrepreneurship, university, and industry linkages. But I thought I'll start with something a bit more controversial. Employment. Can we go to the next slide? So, Resolution 1. High graduate unemployment rate in Ghana. Is it a reality or an illusion? So we can have a conversation, because as we talk about entrepreneurship, we are talking about employability, whether people are looking for their own jobs or they are creating their own jobs. And so I asked the question, high graded unemployment rate in Ghana, is it a reality or an illusion? So I want to take us to the definition of an unemployed person, and I'll give you some keywords in the UN definition. The keywords are that the person has to be out of work and actively looking for work. Remember the word actively, isn't it? So actively looking for work and has not found one in the last whatever period. So if we are looking at unemployed people in the last month, we are saying how many people of working age, so they have to be of working age, are out of work, actively looking for work, and cannot find one. So the young boys and girls you see at the traffic lights, selling all sorts of things, are they unemployed? Are they unemployed? Are they actively looking for another work? So that's the debate, isn't it? So is the issue unemployment or underemployment? So the cons people have so many different other definitions. Employment, underemployment. Underemployment means he has a skill set, but he's underutilizing that skill set. So maybe whilst you can say that they are underemployed, can you say that they don't have a job and they are actively looking for one? So that's the question. So we need to, no, go back. So, but the question is, even if they are actively looking for a job, so somebody finishes university and says, I want to work at GMPC. So he's focused on getting a job at GMPC and no other place. Is that person unemployed? He's unemployed, isn't it? He's actively looking for a job, isn't it? But the question you need to be asking, what type of job is he looking for? Is it the problem that the type of job they are looking for is not available, or there are no jobs? You need to start asking these questions to your students as they start thinking about getting out of school. There's an issue between the job I'm looking for a job, no jobs, and the type of job I'm looking for. If everybody is focused on getting the office tie one that I am very lucky to have, and do 8 to 5, it's a bonus, isn't it? But would everybody, the rest of where in the world does everybody do 8 to 5? It doesn't exist. So maybe we need to start preaching a different story to our up and coming graduates. I'll come back to the issue of whether no jobs or the type of jobs they are looking for is what is not available. I remember when I was at the University of Ghana, I was teaching economics. And I used to ask my students, I gave them an example. You know the Legon Ho JCR, it's called timeout. I asked how many of them are broke, and virtually everybody raised their hands. They all think they are broke. And I asked them, if I had a cleaning job at the JCR, which paid as much as is charged in the UK for wiping tables, how many of them will do it? Only 10% said they will do it. The reason being that they are shy of cleaning tables at the JCR for their other colleagues to see them. But when we went out doing our masters and our PhDs, what were we doing? We were cleaning the tables, wiping, isn't it? Mopping floors. A lot of us have traveled abroad, done our masters and PhD degrees abroad. What do we do to support the income we want? Is it not the same cleaning jobs? But would our kids do the same thing? If even you are paying them that same amount, would they do it? That's why I said I got 10% of them. You are saying yes. So you are part of the 10%, isn't it? 90% of them said they won't do it. And me and you know the majority of the kids we are raising today won't do that job. There is no way. So the question I keep asking, is it that there are no jobs or the type of jobs they are looking for are not available? We need to break that myth before we can move the next step forward. I'm talking from an academic who's gone into industry, and I'm seeing where the real challenges are. I'll give solutions as well as we go on. So can we go to the next slide? So the question then is, if a young guy gets out of school, how does he determine, how does a young graduate identify what income-making opportunities exist without writing a CV? Is that not what you are asking them to do in the entrepreneurship class? That they should create jobs for themselves, isn't it? That's what entrepreneurship is about. Find a way of creating your own job. So today I'll give you one solution that one of my professors, postgraduate degree outside, said. Bill Easterly said that every inefficiency is someone's income. So as professors working in the applied area, what you should be telling your students, the project work that you are giving them should be focused on identifying inefficiencies and looking for solutions. Whether it is science, whether it's in the service industry, everything is about identifying an inefficiency and creating a solution. When the man Zoom Lion came to Ghana, he says, you saw filth, isn't it? What did he see? He saw money. Because that was an inefficiency, begging for a solution. And all that he did was, he didn't have to clean. Has he ever cleaned any of your streets before? But he's the billionaire, not the one cleaning, isn't it? All that he did was to identify an inefficiency and find a solution for it. So what you should be telling your students when they are thinking entrepreneurship, it's look around your communities. What are the inefficiencies in the community? I come from Ofuasi Kokobe in the Ashanti region. I decided to go back there, build a house where I can go to every 2 weeks and relax. From here, I'm going straight to the village. I spend my weekends there. But for about 6 months, I didn't even know how to dispose of my refuse because it's a new developing part of the town. I didn't even know how to. So I who had just finished university. And I said, you keep complaining that there are no jobs. But in this community, there's an inefficiency looking for people to make money out of it. Why don't you come together with a few of your friends, put your 1,000, 2,000 and those things you have together, buy one aboboya and come to me. I'll pay you and others will pay you to collect the refuse. You don't have to sit on the aboboya. Do they have to do that? No. I'm not asking you, the graduate, to sit on the aboboya going around. Just put your money together and get somebody to ride the aboboya. Do you know what a young man did? He went to Zoom Lion and told them that I need my refuse collected. So Zoom Lion is charging me 35 Ghana cedis every month to collect it, and he's still unemployed. I had given him a solution, a money-making option. What did he do? That's not for him. So I'm saying that inefficiencies should be the basis of the project work that you give to your students. When they come to you and they come with a topic, ask them what problem is it solving. If it doesn't solve any problem, it won't make money. If that project work doesn't solve any problem, it won't make money. Nobody will buy or support that project work if it doesn't solve a problem. So if you don't hear anything at all from me today, just remember the words of Bill Easterly. He says, every inefficiency is someone's income. The guy who introduced Cocoa King saw an inefficiency. All of us were rushing out early in the morning. We don't have time to take breakfast. So if I put people on the streets, I'm solving an inefficiency. He ended up supplying food to the airline. Every inefficiency is someone's income. And for those of you in the applied sciences, nobody eats your research findings. It's what inefficiency that research finding is able to resolve, which is important for industry, that gets paid for. So I'll come to bridging the gap later on. So, but these are the things we need to accept as quickly as possible. Like I said, I intend to come back to academia, but I already have a whole number of topics I think I can write on and still make money out of it. Because I know what industry is looking for, isn't it? Because I've been there. Came from academia, 13 years of teaching economics at Legon. I thought there was something still missing. I knew what is supposed to be done, but how? So maybe some of the differences will bring them out as I talk. The difference between academia and the industry, academia knows what needs to be done. Industry knows how it is to be done. But then I'll also tell you the weakness of industry. But because they don't have the theory, when circumstances change, they struggle to adapt. The banking sector collapsed in Ghana. I can explain how it was more of an issue of people who have been trained in how something is done, but not why it is done that way. So when the environment changes, they struggled. Difference between industry and academia. Industry might know why we do certain things. That's a theory, isn't it? Theory will tell you what is to be done, but practice says this is how it is done. But then there's a challenge with somebody who has practice without theory, because he doesn't know the assumptions underlying the model. So once the assumptions change, he struggles to adapt. And that's why so many businesses collapse along the way, even they start so well, because they know how it is done, but why they are doing it the way that they are doing it, they probably do not know. Can we move on to the next slide? I don't want to spend too much time. So the second one, Revolution 2, entrepreneurship skills are acquired and inherited and not acquired. I'm sure you hear a lot of these, that, oh, these guys are born with a spirit of entrepreneurship. My position is that there are aspects of entrepreneurship that can be taught, and people can be guided in these areas. So for instance, the choice of a project. Like I said, I've already told you one way of selecting what project work you should do, isn't it? I can teach that to students. Project choice, either through mentoring and coaching. So there are skill sets that can be taught, entrepreneurship skill sets that can be taught. You can also teach people skills by volunteering. I started, and I can say that where I've gotten to, 70% of that was done to the amount of volunteering that I've done in my life. So I volunteered the school jerseys at Koforidua school when I was in Form 1. I used to watch the school jerseys, and it got me the chance to sit on the school bus free of charge. I didn't have to pay. By the time I got to Form 3, because I had been traveling with the team a lot, I was made a team manager. So team manager for all sporting disciplines. So they used to call me OWAS TM. So I got to learn about every sport. I hope you're getting my drift. I got to learn about every sport. So even today, I even watch cricket. I watch tennis, so my DSTV. I think I benefit more from DSTV than anybody else. Because I watch every sport, because I understand every sport. And for the record, once you understand the rules of any sport, it's interesting. That's a trick. Get somebody to explain the rules of that sport, and you have a new sport to follow. That's the thing about sports. Once you understand the rules, you are there. And because I did that, I volunteered all those things, I got to know about all these sports. And then because I was the team manager, that's where I built my managerial skills. Just last week, when I was preparing for this, it just got to me that I was organizing the Koforidua school team to prepare for Intako, their jerseys, the food they will eat and all, at the age of what? 15 years. Remember, in Form 3, you go to Form 1 at the age of 12. By Form 3, I was only 15 years. But I had built the ability to organize because I had been given the opportunity through volunteering. And is that also not internship? That's also internship. So where did it lead me? By the time I came out of school, I went to University of Ghana. When University of Ghana set up Radio Universe as a volunteer station, I volunteered to serve. Professor Kwesi Yanka listened to me a couple of days, me talking sports and giving out facts. And he said, why don't you focus on the sports journalism part? and not the DJing part. That's mentoring, isn't it? He just directed me into an area that he thought, but it started with me volunteering to do something for free. How many of your students are volunteering their services for anything? Because through volunteering, I got in mentorship, I got interned, and I came out. And so by the time I got out of sports radio, I was ready for football management, isn't it? I met Otunfo at Harvard. Whilst I was doing my PhD, he had come there to present a paper in chieftaincy and development. He sat at the Boston Museum of Arts and Sciences. We all went there to pay homage to the old man. He asked me where I'm from. I said, of Francis Okokobeng. He said, oh, I know the place. I know your Queen Mother. What are you doing? I said, I'm doing something in the economics of sports. I'm learning to write papers in the economy. Oh, that's interesting. When you come to Ghana, make sure I see you. I came to Ghana 2006 during the World Cup. I was focused on watching the Germany World Cup. I got a call from Menchia one day. The old man wants to see you. He's forming the new board of Kotoko, and I want you to speak for them. Because he had heard me on my Adum FM program called Kwame's Diary. I started the first opinionated sports program on radio. I said, I also have to share my opinion. Journalism school tells you that as a journalist, you state the facts and allow others to share their opinion. I disagreed. And that's where Countryman Songo picked his program from. Because I put him on his first international foreign commentary. And then when I left for Harvard and I stopped Kwame's Diary, he decided to do Fire for Fire, which is that's where it came from. Because I started writing my opinion and my thoughts. This time it was radio. He moved it a notch higher to what? Television. So whenever he's fooling on radio, I'm the only person who can call him and tell him, you need to know the difference between criticism and critiquing. That's where he doesn't get it. He confuses critiquing with criticism. But that's just by the way. So, but there are other aspects of entrepreneurship that cannot be learned or cannot be taught. How to determine who to trust in partnerships. Can somebody teach you that? And that is why a lot of people in Ghana want to own 100% of a small business rather than 20% of a big business. It's all about trust, isn't it? Probably our culture as well. So in teaching entrepreneurship in your classrooms, can you teach them how to determine who to trust to go along with? Or when to use other people's money, what we call OPM in finance. When you want to start your business, you don't start your business with other people's money. You don't go to a bank and ask them for money when your own father is not prepared to invest in your business. The people who know you, your friends, your family are not prepared to put money in your business. It means you have not been able to convince them of your idea. So if the people who know you don't trust your ideas, why would a bank trust your ideas? So it's sometimes the problem is not really finance. My father, who is also a professor of economics, did a paper years back and showed that the problem of small and micro businesses is not really finance. Because people have made money and still they have collapsed, isn't it? We have not been able to transcend from a 2-3 generation company. How many of them exist in Ghana? Where the first generation handed over to the second generation, and then the second generation handed over to, and it still survives. How many businesses are there? So the problem might not necessarily be finance. There's something more. We want to have everything to ourselves. We don't want to trust. If you don't want to trust, then you remain small, isn't it? And when you remain small, you can't take advantage. So where are the airlines? CityLink, Amtrak. These were the first ones which came, isn't it? Shouldn't they be the bigger ones by now? They refused to adapt to changing circumstances. So when Starbull came in, Amtrak and CityLink could not survive. And then the new ones came in, Starbull also went down. Why is it that way? We need to look for. It's more about the same entrepreneurship skills and mentorship and being prepared to trust. Because so long as you remain small, you cannot compete when big money comes to town, isn't it? But if you can combine, how many mergers ever happen in Ghana? How many of you ever hear of mergers in Ghana? You said? Unless they are forced by the liquidator, isn't it? So maybe we need to rethink the entrepreneurship, the kind of things we need to be focusing on when we are teaching the students about entrepreneurship. Because they might be able to raise the money, but they cannot go forward because of these soft skills that are not taught. I hope you understand. Can we move on? Then there's Resolution 3. This goes direct to you in academia. Ghanaian universities are not producing the right quality of students for industry. Is that true? It's debatable, isn't it? Okay, so Prof says it's debatable. So what is my thinking around here? Can we go to the... For me, my thinking around this is that it's less in quality of teaching. The problem, if there's even a gap between academia and industry, it's less of a problem of quality of teaching. But I think because I've been there are gaps in the teaching aids and infrastructure available for professors to use. Because we have our professors, they've gone to the best universities in the world. They competed with their colleagues outside the world, isn't it? I think there's a slide. Can we go back? Let me see if I've missed a particular slide. Can we go back again? Is there a repetition? No, go back. No, go for it. Go for it. Okay, I missed, go for it. Let's go here. I was talking about the gaps. So there are gaps in terms of the teaching and infrastructure. If you compare Ghanaian universities to universities abroad. So I did a whole year PhD class, Harvard, held my own. One of the questions I keep asking, the people who make these comments about universities not producing the right quality of students for industry, most of them have gone through our universities, haven't they? They go to our universities in Ghana, probably go outside, add 1 or 2 degrees, and come back. All of them think they turned out well, isn't it? Which of them says, I didn't turn out well because I went to a university in Ghana? None of them. Everybody thinks they turned out well. When Ghanaians produce undergraduate students who go abroad, aren't they able to compete with their counterparts abroad? We are examples of that, isn't it? We all did our undergraduate year, went abroad, we competed favorably. So if we are not properly trained, how did we compete at that level? I'm just asking these questions. When I meet my friends, when they make these comments, I make the same thing. I think I turned out well. I went to Harvard, but I was prepared to go. I was prepared by University of Ghana to be able to withstand Harvard training, isn't it? I sat there probably with the top 19 economics PhD students in the world in the Harvard PhD class. They got their A's. I also got my A's. They went to undergraduate universities in these foreign countries, isn't it? But I got the same degree as postgraduate qualification as them. So why does anybody think that the training we get in our universities is terrible and is of no use? We understand there are gaps. Let's recognize it. When I went to my Harvard first lecture, I'd gone with my notebook, like I've been taught in Legon, isn't it? My notebook and my pen, I was going to copy notes. I walked in the classroom, all my colleagues were holding a Lenovo ThinkPad. Turn it, flip it outside down, pull out the pen. This is 2006. 2005, 2006. My Harvard colleagues had their Lenovo ThinkPad, which is basically a tablet, in 2005, 2006, and they were writing it and it was typing it out for them. I was writing on a sheet of paper. That's how I've been taught. The professors focus, even when it's the theoretical aspects, they focus on teaching you how to apply the theory rather than deriving the equations. So if the equation to how to calculate the standard deviation, they'll put it in Excel, isn't it? You don't need to derive. At Legon, I was teaching my students the same level of class, how to derive the equation. They had gone ahead and say, you don't need to learn how to derive it, how to apply it, isn't it? So he goes to Excel, puts the data in, and he focuses on explaining to them how to interpret the results. But your student at Legon or at KTU is being taught to derive. So when he finishes deriving the equation, the next thing will be what? So he spends all the time on a lot of the unnecessary parts, and the semester is over. And so when he goes into industry, he knows the formula for deriving the equation. But does industry care about the formula? They don't. They care about the application. So he spent too much time focusing on the derivation rather than what? The application. So he feels he's out. Thank you. So I believe that there are gaps in teaching, gaps in quality and quantity in research done. But what is the solution? Instead of industry complaining about the gaps, they should focus on doing what? Helping us deal with the gaps. The quality of students they are looking for through scholarships, internships, and job offers. Who should pay for you to benefit? Industry should direct academia as to where you want research to be done. And how do you do that? Is he who pays the piper who calls what? The tune. Bring us the money, we'll do the kind of research you want us to be done. Instead of just focusing on, oh, the quality of research is bad. We can say that for eternity, isn't it? So that's the next. Can we move quickly? So go to the next slide. So I just wanted to resolution 4. They say the academics focus too much on theory with little relevance to practice. But as Yogi Berra said, there's no difference in theory. In theory, listen carefully. In theory, there's no difference between practice and theory. In practice, there is. So in theory, there's no difference between theory and practice. But in practice, there is a difference. But of course, we also know that theory is just abstracted practice. What is theory? We have looked at what has been done over time, collected the data, and developed a model out of it, isn't it? It's abstracted practice. And practice is what? Applied theory. When somebody wants to build a car, he uses so many different models of motion, velocity, and those things to work on developing a car, isn't it? It's so many underlying theories. But he says, I know how to build a car. You only know the theory. But the car you are building is based on theories. Various theories of motion, velocity, gravity, whatever it is. So there's always a link between what? Theory and practice. So this idea that you don't need theory, but all you need is practice, it doesn't exist anywhere. As an academic, you need to figure out what value your theory provides for those who practice. That's the only reason why they will put money in your research. If you cannot convince the theory application to what you are doing, why will GMPC put money in your research? It's of no relevance. Meanwhile, for practitioners also require theory to understand why they do things the way they do them. Otherwise, when the assumptions and the environment changes, they struggle. Virtually all the car manufacturing models, are they not done in laboratories? Testings are done in laboratories with professors who have researched various aspects of. So we might need to redo the thinking. Practice, if we're really going to go into industrialization and manufacturing, it starts with a relationship between industry and academia. Next. I'll just finish very soon. So I just wanted to go back. I just wanted to go back to a few points. So for how does the academia bridge the gap? Action research or the use of case studies. If you go to the companies and you study them and then you come back and tell them after studying you, these are the challenges. I did a case study of you, but these are the challenges. This is how you can improve. Won't they give you money to do further research? So that is where it begins. Action research and case studies, showing that industrial practice is based on a combination of several theoretical underpinnings. That's how you bridge the gap. You can convince them that your theory or research is relevant for them, they won't put their money in that. And how does industry also bridge it? Modernizing university curricula. How do they help you to your training? What are they looking for? Once again, it still comes up to, it's when they put money in. I've done that, and I'll show you how this is done in practice. So that's why I said industry academia linkages in theory. This is how it's done. But how is GMPC approaching this? So industry is supposed to give you internships, learning factories. Learning factories are basically factories set up on university campuses purely for teaching purposes. But the people setting it up know that the outcome of that research directly impacts their activity. So that's it. So let me quickly run through how GMPC as a corporate body is putting that into real practice. So these are the linkages. These are examples. Move forward. So in practice, this is what GMPC started with. So you put your money where your mouth is. In 2018, we set up these 4 professorial chairs at KNUST, UG, UMAT, and UCC, giving each of them $250,000 per university per annum. The idea is that over a 4-year period, each of them would have had $1 million to upgrade their laboratories, acquisition of teaching aids, and support postgraduate training and staff development. So they've sent some of their staff on to do their PhDs with the monies that GMPC gives them. Next, I'll just round up. Academic infrastructure. So whilst helping them with the teaching aids, you need to also help them with infrastructure. Currently, we've done phase 1 of the School of Petroleum Studies at UMAT, applications laboratory at UNAIR. We are building a sickle cell and blood center at Koforidua. Teaching hospital is going to be the biggest one in the whole of West Africa. It's about 80% complete. We've gotten approval to do an office and lecture hall complex for Koforidua Technical University. Is at the procurement stage. Office and lecture hall complex at UNAIR. An extension of the administration block at KNUST. And then we are building a hospital block for UPSA, and then office and lecture hall complex for the University of Ghana Business School. In terms of research and development, we are setting up a research and development center on the Spintex Road. Civil works 80%. The idea here, it will be the center to coordinate a lot of applied research, especially in the petroleum area. So we are putting money where our mouth is. Professors will be brought in there on sabbatical to work at these laboratories, come up with new ways of doing things in the mining, engineering, and petroleum areas in Ghana. And like I said, it will provide testing facilities for industry, utilizing the capacity of universities and applied universities in Ghana. And we've also done these scholarships. I'm sure a lot of your universities have students who have benefited from this. Since 2017, 5,550 young boys and girls have gotten scholarships under the GMPC local scholarship, 800 masters and 188 PhDs since 2017, 5 years. 1,371 have completed, over 4,000 are still yet to complete. For foreign scholarships, we've given 295 scholarships since 2017, 262 masters, 32 PhDs, just to build the capacity of universities in Ghana. 157 completed and 138 run. Finally, we have this GMPC scholarship, medical students in Cuba, 200 scholarships awarded in 2018, 170 for undergrads and 30 specialists. Unfortunately, one of them passed away because he had a complication. And this is where we put the theory into practice at GMPC. So there's a link between theory and practice. Industry has to put their money where their mouth is. So let me just remind you of these few things that I said so far. The types of jobs graduates are looking for may be in short supply. We need to rethink. Every inefficiency is someone's income. Academics need to emphasize what value their research provides for practice. Industry needs to put their money where their mouth is, just as GMPC is doing. Thank you very much.
Protocols which have already been established, and I don't know how I'm going to fit my things in the time that I've been given by Ajaman. It is scary because when I look at myself and the way I've worked at continental level, the things that I've done, the time he has given me. We will see from the institutional evaluations, from academic reviews and so on. I had a lot to share, but let's see how it goes. Previous speaker, please, may you stand up and come close to me. Is the VC for STU or the registrar? There's something, and he has said, which I've always said all the time. And I told people whom I've addressed earlier that for me to be here today as a continental and global person, that is the thing which I did. Can somebody tell us what he said he did, which made him rise through the ranks and get recognition? Yes, so is my brother. Registrar, you remember how many times when I come to Sunyani Technical University, when I address any gathering, just any gathering, I tell them it's because of volunteering that I'm where I am. Even then, addressing the issue of employability and things, I always talk about a tailor, a dressmaker who is very, very good, but nobody knows about them. Because they are in there, nobody has won what they've done to go out and say, yo, so this was made by so-so, located so-and-so, you can go and have your own. That's number one. Number two, you can still be a good baba. But if you always stay in there, nobody knows about you. It led me into starting from where I didn't want to start from. But let me go ahead. 10 technical universities coming into the field of traditional universities, which have already been recognized and outstanding. What does it take for you to convince that you can equally perform like them? Because I remember very well when the polytechnics were turned into technical universities. The talk was, what are they going to do? Are they going to match up with us? Ladies and gentlemen, no. In most cases, not that I'm selective. I do not want to align with the big brothers, because now the big brothers are having names. I want to do my programs out of Accra, if it is in Ghana, out of Harare, if it is in Zimbabwe, out of Joburg or Pretoria, if it is in South Africa. Why? Because we need to go there and lift up so that the whole country, the whole continent can actually enjoy, can actually be recognized with what they are doing. At this moment, frankly speaking, you know, the Vice Chancellor of KNUST came yesterday. I think I did like 3 programs there, for international programs there, such that people need to fly into Accra from other countries and then catch another flight to Kumasi, catch another flight to UDS. It happened, and the people came. But the issue is, I just want to drive to the point that technical universities, 10, am I right, 10 or 11 now, 10 technical universities, you need to stand up. Branding, institutional visibility. And in that regard, along those lines, I therefore want to congratulate you for this event. It puts you on the national map. It puts you on the continental map. It puts you on the regional map. It puts you on the global map. But Prof. Ben, stand up, say, I always follow him. In that aspect, he means business. But I told him something. Imagine if we are 200 right now, and I push a tweet that I'm speaking here at the Technical Universities in Ghana Annual Applied Research Conference. Huh? And we all retweet, we share, we love. He does it. But I told him, he has got more student numbers than the Association of African Universities. It was our discourse beginning of week. You can sit down, say thank you. He is trying, but now he needs to mobilize both staff and students. Why? We need to build a brand. We need to build a brand for our technical universities so that these days, if people are looking for people to employ, or if you apply for a job, what they do is that they go to LinkedIn. Maybe they find you or they don't find you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today, at tea break and lunch, if you are not on LinkedIn, go there. Go there. You need to tell the students to go on LinkedIn. At least we are talking about industry, entrepreneurship, and also we will talk about more. But I'm starting with the end. Why we are doing all these things. Some people want jobs. Some people want to generate their own companies and also create employment. So go there, have a LinkedIn account, vice chancellors, registrars, and anybody who is in the university leadership. Go and encourage both students and staff to join LinkedIn. At least LinkedIn is a highly professional, decent, beneficial. I can go on and on to describe the LinkedIn, but be there. Because that's your space to be recognized. And then you go to Facebook, you also go to Twitter for the right reasons. Because the employers will now check. If they say, oh, but he is on LinkedIn, on Twitter he has posted something rubbish. No, we can't employ somebody like this. So be careful what you are posting on social media and where it can go. Right now, information travels at the speed of lightning. Right. Going back, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not an engineer. But what I'm going to talk about is what can benefit those engineers and everybody else. And I think I'll gain a plus for that other than a real focus on engineering alone. Having said that, I'm just going to move along with two words, relevance and transformation. Relevance and transformation. Right now, we can't deny, with the fourth industrial revolution, it started before 2016. And also with the spare by the COVID-19 pandemic, which even put us into a corner to now accept what we have been denying. We have no choice. Right now, some institutions were saying that they want to go back to face-to-face. When COVID-19 pandemic came, we had lockdowns. I can tell you now, I want to move to 4 things. What are the 4 things? Culture, mindset, attitude, and the way we normally do things. Take note of those 4. Culture, attitude, mindset, and the way we normally do things. Everything else I'm going to say hereafter is based on those 4. So looking at it, a practical example, with the COVID-19 pandemic, lockdowns came. Within 2 weeks, I can give an example. Valley View University in Ghana was already open. 2 weeks. Some went up to a month, some 6 months. It tells you something about these 4. And right now, after everybody else had invested a bit or a lot into ICT infrastructure and internet services, you hear a whole vice chancellor, a whole institutional leadership going to announce in front of everybody that now we are going back to face. And all the students are saying, no, we can't do that. Do you not have ears to hear, eyes to see, and whatever else to use to smell what is prevailing? The students are right. If anything, we are going to blend it. I say, if anything is what? It's blended. Because if you now go back to face, and also the Tema is automated, Coca-Cola is automated. Every week we hear from the banks, we are upgrading the system. So where are they going to practice without the ICT knowledge and skills? So you staff and lecturers, you need to practice. You need to learn not to join the Zoom meeting, but even to generate a Zoom account for yourself. Because even up to now, there are people who cannot join Zoom without a meeting ID and a passcode. Now, we are in 2022. COVID came in 2020. Zoom came 3 months later. And now we have been with Zoom for all this time. Some of the trainings that I'm currently doing are even to do with how do you generate your own account on Zoom, which allows you not to use the institutional account for your family meetings, but to use your own 40 minutes free account to do meetings with friends, business meetings, or any other meetings with relatives and so on. The Bible said, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. Is it true? Is it true? So, going on, it was saying I'm supposed to address something on engineering, but this applies to everybody. It applies to everybody that some people, when COVID-19 came, they thought there were no pieces of equipment to do the practical oriented disciplines, but it's not true. Around 2010, I remember doing some workshop where I was even saying, the things we need are out there. All of them are out there. Even how to teach engineering, agriculture, what have you, medicine, music, digital, what? It is there out there. Those practical oriented disciplines, you can use micro labs, simulations, and some of them even have an advantage that you can carry out some activities and experiments which in the real world could be very dangerous. So you do them in a micro lab. But are we looking for that knowledge, for those skills, for those software platforms that we need to use? You are in the technical field, and you are the people to run around all the time to look for those things. Having said that, I just want to say our leadership. Our leadership needs to be agile. Our leadership needs to be accommodative. I've had the privilege of working with the Vice Chancellor of Technical University, Vice Chancellor Sunyani Technical University, and the leadership. Who else? I saw their staff. The way they come to them is brotherly, it's sisterly. I don't see power differentials. I don't know when they are in office how they behave. But where I saw them, some of them we intermingled. 3 days I went back. I came again for the, you see, the registrar. So what are you saying? Oh, VC, tell me, you wouldn't do that to somebody who is so rigid, always tense, and think leadership is a label. Vice Chancellor, registrar, what? Leadership is not a label. What is it? It's a personality. Leadership is not a label. Vice Chancellor, registrar, librarian, what? No, forget it. There is a position, there is a label, but there are leadership qualities. And it's those leadership qualities which a person who is put into a leadership position with a label, Vice Chancellor, label, registrar, would practice. So what would that kind of a leader do? That kind of a leader will not look at the age of the staff who is advising on something. You will, or she will not look at the position of the staff who wants to initiate something. We will not look at the gender of the person who is advising or who is coming with an initiative. Everybody, where you are a leader. Where I'm given an opportunity, in addition to volunteering, when I get there, I think you agree with me that when you have a funeral, a wedding, what at your home, somebody whispers, Ruth is not going to be here. Oh, it's not going to be here. So who is going to organize for us? Apparently, Ruth is only 25 years old. All the elders who are 60, 40, they are put off just because Ruth, who normally organizes their functions, is not there. Leadership, regardless of age, regardless of anything, a person can be a leader. And all those who assume you can't, in meetings, you really feel that, oh, I want to say this point, but who am I? I'm a woman, I'm 22, I'm a new employee. That's another one. Poisonous. You are a new employee. When will we cease to define you as a new employee so that now you become active and start contributing to the institution? You are new staff. So, opportunities are running away from you. Right? So, in the interest of time, I will look at, I said relevance and transformation. I'm moving. Relevance and transformation. What do we need to do now as technical universities? New programs, curricular review, equipment. And people will tell me, Doc, even if we want to have equipment, we can't because we don't have the resources. Technical universities, never again should you give an excuse that you can't have this because you don't have money. government cake has been cut off. Why? The 5 Asian tigers, including Singapore, it's TVET which brought them up. So, demonstrate here and now that because you are TVET institutions, you can do it. And if you say you can't replace the pieces of equipment to have modern equipment, what is going to happen to those students who will graduate and go and find new pieces of equipment there? What will happen to them? You should strive to get the new pieces of equipment, the new software, and so on to use. Knowledge and skills, teaching approaches. You are not the fountain of knowledge. Even in a medical school, you find lecturers justifying, oh, medicine, you know it's difficult. So, because they are first-year students, because it's the first semester, because it's the first course that they are doing, because they are in level 100, I need to tell them a bit about medicine. You are lost to ask them, and they can tell you. Good. Okay, so when you ask one student, so at this level, what do you know about medicine? You will realize that this girl, this boy is more knowledgeable than you. Why? Because the father, the uncle, the auntie owns a state-of-the-art hospital with the latest medical equipment. And from childhood up to now when they are in level 100, they've been going to the hospital with the father every day when they are on holiday to see how the medical field is. So here, even if they are coming to get a degree, they are just coming to get a paper so that they can now push the paper to say, I'm a medical doctor. But they know more than you, so don't undermine them. And these days, they can laugh at you too. You come and read theories. You see them laughing. The definition is wrong. Oh. I saw the way he shivered when he wanted to get. He is not prepared. She's not prepared for this lecture. I call them the Y.com generation. So if you don't match up with them, you're on trouble. They'll give you names. They'll laugh at you because you have exposed yourself. My policy, by the way, I also taught in a university for about 13 years before I became a director of quality assurance in the university system. Then I came to continental level to the association. So I'm talking about things that I know. It's not that I've not been there. So, technical universities, if your government is not doing it through the Ministry of Employment, do it yourself. The skills gap analysis. The skills gap analysis. You can't all say, oh, technical university, they've started this program in what, and so let's also do it. Do your own. Do your own, because there are so many more programs that are needed. We can't have 10 technical universities offering the same degree programs. Very soon you flood the market. There are many more things that are there, but immediately I want to say, for every curricular review and every degree program that you are doing, you need an ICT component on it. Make sure every program, psychology, sociology, music, graphics, what have you, engineering, there should be an ICT component. If not, you will see the paper said half-baked graduates. Don't deny it. Don't deny it when they say half-baked graduates. Why? Because now when go into the industry, the ICT component is prevalent. Everything is digitalized. The workspaces are digitalized, and so this is where they are going. So if yours do not have that component, they are half-baked. And I will sing that song with the industry. Right. Just to round off very quickly, I'm told I've got now maybe 6 minutes. Benchmarking. Don't be too ambitious. So far, for technical universities, Germany is one of the countries with the best TVET system in the universities, in the colleges, in the polytechnics. You can check what they are doing, but you may not be able to jump there. Please, you choke yourself. Don't jump too much. Do it one level at a time. If you are in Ghana, benchmark with another African country. And then you go to benchmark with another university in another continent until you benchmark with the best universities. What are they doing? What are you doing? That's benchmarking. Okay, what is it that they are doing which we are not doing? And then you take that on board. Hey, my time, hold on. Why I said that technical universities, you should not cry that you don't have funds to buy equipment, to add more buildings, and you are waiting for government's cake which is dwindling. It's because you are in the field, which has been proven throughout the world that it is the one which can drive the economies. All the economies can be driven by TVET. Those in construction, they want the welding skills, they want the glazing, they want the... Everybody wants something from TVET. So, please, pull up your socks. Third stream income, I link it up with I call completing the research process. I didn't have adequate time to look into this, but let me say a general statement. What is in here? Put up your hand if you researched on something that can be patented or where we can have a copyright. Put up your hand quickly. Hello. Yes, I see a hand there. Please rush to the front. I'm given 5 minutes. Oh, the person is not coming. Are you coming? Okay. Whatever it is, you come. We want to complete the research process. Ladies and gentlemen, we do not want research for promotion. No. We don't want research for promotion. That has killed the whole thing. Just a simple research. For promotion, you are doing a research that has already been done. You are doing saturated areas. You are not going to ideation. Ideation where you give yourself quality time to think. Congratulations to that university which said, I saw the yellow, what do you call it, the tricycle? Which stand is that, please? Cape Coast, congratulations. Oh, the guy told me they changed it into solar driven. The guy told me they changed some features. It was yesterday, so I've forgotten. But that component alone of removing it from being petrol driven to solar driven, you get a patent for that. It's like our phones. There were cameras earlier on. But the one who designed a camera which could be compatible with a smartphone, it's a patent. Something that can give you money. Universities, please, don't showcase your patents before you start the patenting process. You know, let me say, it's not that I hate anybody who is not black or... Please, when you have an event and you have more other colored skin people, it's because they know you are not smart. So they come, they ask you, what is this? So this is a wheelchair which we have made. And instead, if you have a person who is not feeling well, we have created this wall. So you just push the wheelchair, place the person onto the toilet, and they help themselves without you now always lifting them. And what? They rush, they go, design it, start patenting it, they become their intellectual property. From you, while you are here, that is the part which makes me cry, if I can cry. I'm telling you, you are doing lots and lots of valuable things, but you are not using them. You are not completing the research process. In my country, by the way, I'm a Zimbabwean. So when we get there, we now have Education 5.0. Education 5.0, it means research, teaching and learning, community engagement, industrialization and commercialization and industrialization. And when we talk of commercialization and industrialization, we are saying for every research that you do, go to the end of the research chain, which is intellectual property, either a copyright in software or what, music and anything, and then patents, intangible products. What stops you from doing that? What is it that you are lacking? No, let's do the smooth talk, so which are a bit rough, or they help. We can't remain in our comfort zones. Competitions. I said, there's the lady there, one lady who said what she researched on, which is captured here, can be intellectual property. But I want to challenge you today to say that we need institutional competitions. This year, you say, we want to produce this product or these two products. Other than writing papers, or from the papers, the very, very good papers, now follow them so that you do prototypes, you do actual products, and you can push them into the market and start selling them. So what is it you need to do? You need to have practical competitions of those who will come up with the best product. All institutions will do that. And then I think in the interest of time, I can't even show the slides, which is it so, Ajman? I'm running out of time. I can't even show any single slide, but what I know is that what I've said is in there, although I would have wanted to. But can I just refer just to that slide alone? Just that alone. Sorry, please. Right. What is it saying? Higher education, government, and industry in meaningful engagements. So because people don't go by university industry, no. If you leave out government, you leave them for good. Put them in that equation. I don't know. Higher education plus government plus industry equals to what? I don't know. But you need to do curricular design and review together. You need to do training, lectureship, role modeling, special guest provisions, internships, he has said it, jobs, projects, collaborations together. And if you do that, you really mean well. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much.